On the eve of the largest invasion in human history, the most important battle wasn't fought with guns. It was fought with lies. It was fought with illusions and with phantom whispers sent over the radio. We're going to dive into the incredible true story of the Ghost Army that made D-Day possible. Winston Churchill really hit the nail on the head with this one. And for the D-Day landings, the Allies didn't just create a bodyguard for the truth, they built an entire fortress of deception. It was an absolute masterpiece of misdirection, all designed to protect the single most important secret of the entire war. Okay, let's just stop and think about the sheer scale of the problem they were facing. You've got to land almost 133,000 men on a hostile shore. The enemy is dug in, they're waiting for you. One mistake, one leak, and the beaches of Normandy could have become an absolute slaughter. The stakes were literally everything. So how do you pull it off? Well, the first part of this giant, elaborate plan wasn't hatched on a battlefield. No, it started in the shadowy world of spies and counterspies. The idea was as brilliant as it was risky. Don't just capture enemy agents, turn them into your own.
And this was the nerve center for the whole thing. It was called the XX Committee, which, stands for double cross. These guys weren't just catching spies, they were actively running them. They had essentially created a secret private hotline straight into the brains of German intelligence, and they were about to use it to tell the biggest lie of the war.
To really get how this worked, you have to hear the story of Wolf Schmidt. So imagine this. He parachutes into England all ready to be a top spy for the Nazis, and he gets caught almost immediately. By the local neighborhood watch, basically. He's given a very simple choice. You can be executed, or you can work for us. He chose to live, and as Agent Tate, he became one of their best assets. He was so convincing, the Germans actually awarded him the Iron Cross for his loyal service. You can't make this stuff up. But just having turned spies whispering lies wasn't going to be enough. For a deception this massive, the Germans had to believe they were seeing it. So the Allies decided, okay, we're going to have to build them an army. A huge, powerful army that was completely fake. The logic here was actually pretty simple. Calais was the most obvious place to invade. It's the shortest route across the English Channel. So Operation Fortitude South was designed to basically scream at the Germans. You're right, we're coming for Calais. The entire goal was to get them so fixated on the wrong place that when the real invasion happened somewhere else, they'd just dismiss it as a diversion. And the way they did it is it's mind-boggling. Across southeast England, this bizarre theater was playing out. Instead of thousands of soldiers, you had rows of empty tents. Instead of heavy steel tanks, you had inflatable rubber ones. They even built fake landing craft out of wood and canvas to make the harbors look busy. It was like a giant Hollywood production, and the only audience was the German military. Okay, so inflatable tanks might fool a pilot from a few thousand feet up, but a real army, it has a sound, right? It has a pulse. It's alive with radio chatter. How on earth do you fake that? How do you give a ghost a voice? Well, the answer came from thousands of men, working in complete secrecy, sending messages into thin air. These guys were the unsung heroes who gave the Ghost Army its voice and made the entire illusion feel terrifyingly real. You had units like the 3103 Signal Service Battalion. Deep in the tunnels under Dover Castle, men like Charles Bjornstad worked around the clock. Their job was to send out a constant, massive stream of coded radio traffic, all of it fake. They were creating the sound of a huge army getting ready to invade. And here's the kicker. They had no idea what was in the messages. They just knew it was important. They were the secret beating heart of this phantom army. So all the pieces are now on the board. You've got the double agents feeding lies. You have the ghost army of inflatable tanks gathering in Kent. And you've got the airwaves humming with fake radio traffic. On the eve of D-Day, there are basically two different realities. On one side, you have the world the German high command saw. They were totally 100% convinced that the main attack was coming at Calais, led by this massive force called FUSAG. They were sure of it. And then, there's the truth. The real target was Normandy, and that powerful FUSAG army was nothing more than rubber, wood, and static. So this was it. This was the moment of truth. After a year of lies, of espionage, of building this grand illusion, it all came down to one question on June 6, 1944. Did they buy it? 19. The answer is in that one number. That's how successful this was. 19 German infantry divisions plus 2 armored divisions were just sitting there, parked to pass Calais. They were waiting for a fake invasion from an army that didn't exist, while hundreds of miles away, the real battle for the world was starting in Normandy. The lie held, not just for D-Day, but for critical weeks afterward. By keeping all those German reinforcements completely out of the fight, Operation Fortitude saved an untold number of lives, it made sure the beachhead was secure, and it literally changed the course of the war. And just think about the people involved. The signalmen in those tunnels, the turned spies, they all had to carry this unbelievable secret. Their silence and their discipline were every bit as important as a soldier's bravery on the beach. It was, for them, the greatest secret they would ever keep. And that kind of leaves us with a pretty wild question, doesn't it? We just saw how an army made of rubber and radio waves fooled an entire military. But today, in our world of spy satellites, cyber warfare, and constant surveillance, could a lie this big, this audacious, ever really work again? It's something to think about.